So, what does actual truth mean to us? Is it about our own experience? Is it about our own perception of life? How do we perceive truth? Truth, I define it as when you're trying to find the kind of rawness of something, the depths of something. It often comes from experience, right? So, if I take an example that, you know, truth is perhaps something from my own experience. If I experience something, I know how would it feel. I know what it made me feel. I know the experience of it. I know why something matters to me, or I know why this is happening in my life. And we sort of have different definitions of what truth mean to us. And with all honesty, is different for everyone. I can say that my truth here, or my truth would be that of, truth is that I'm Sarah, right? Truth is I love being in nature. Truth is I um love desserts or I love chocolates. I'm more like a sweet person than someone loving salt or spicy or whatnot. Savory. Truth is, I'm a content creator. I love yoga. I teach yoga. Truth is, I'm here sitting in a garden. So when you look at not the literal definition of truth, truth, comes from integrity, honesty, but truth also means your experience of life. Your experience of life is your truth. And this is a bit different than our reality, right? We know when something is true if we either seen it, heard, heard it from the source, and that we have knowledge about. When there is knowledge, when there is experience, they both give us a result, right? All of it gives us result. If there is missing knowledge, and when I say knowledge, it can be really from books, it can be from people, it can be from your own wisdom. When these things come together, right, that becomes your truth. Now, of course, there are things where when you say truth, it also can be something that you don't like, right? So, truth is anything that is involving your experience, your wisdom, knowledge, and your ability to see things through, or your understanding that you are capable to find out what is authentic to you. If we see something as true as, like, for example, my phone, this is my phone, it has a pin case, it's an iPhone, that's truth. You can see that it's an iPhone, right? I don't have to really take the cover to show you the logo. You know it's an iPhone because, it has two cameras, it looks like an iPhone. Because we know what an iPhone looks like. If we don't know what an iPhone looks like, I might pick this phone and be like, this is a Samsung phone. If you haven't seen an iPhone, you would believe that this is a Samsung because it's my phone. I know which phone I bought, so you would believe what I said. So, same things with our beliefs and what we think about ourselves. It comes with, there is a definition to it based on our perception. And sometimes it can be tricky. Well, I don't really call that a truth, but it can be tricky when someone have told you something and you believed it to be true about yourself. That's something that, like, especially happens when you're a child. You've come here to this world, there is nothing right or wrong. You just quite literally come into this world believing everything you've been told because you're a kid. You have not experienced life. You don't know what life looks like. You don't know what your mom looks like. So when you're born out of, your mom, you would then experience life. You are taught what is right and wrong. But we never got to question what is true and right for us. How come we don't question that? We've been given this map that this is your world, go live it. We didn't truly question if that world is true. We, as kids, we just are surrendering, we just are given what people are, giving us. We've only been shown the things that people want us to know about, no? And when we've identified with right or wrong, that's when we come into this world. We then live that experience, and then we get to create our own manual of life. When I say manual of life, that is your definitions of how things are. Just checking to see if there's any mosquito, because I have my my O positive attracts mosquitoes. So just gotta be wary. So our truth, what is our truth? So we've been given this manual, correct? We've been given this manual to understand what life is, how to live life, what our name is, age, what our profession is. All of that is just a surface level identification to just know ourselves. The deeper we get into life, that's where it gets spicy. That's where it gets interesting. It gets interesting when life starts to throw you experiences, people, things to challenge you with, and you're like, huh, how come that those things that I'm being challenged with are not in my manual? So we've been given this manual of life, right? That everything that we need to know about life should be there, right? And as kids, that's how we've been taught, right? To whatever it is that our parents are giving us, that's the manual of life. So then we go out there in the world and we get this like experience in life. We're like, oh, where did that come from? Or like, I wasn't aware that that was something that existed in life, right? And then we start to create this separation between life and us. We start to think this is unfair. How dare life is like that? Why is it so hard? Why wasn't anyone, giving me a heads up on this? Why wasn't I informed about any of this challenges? But who would have known? And who would have thought that that would happen? But because everything is wrapped up in our line, kind of through our ancestral, through things that we carry deep down, even when it doesn't really make sense. Those those um those dreams that come to you and you're like, what the heck? Like where does that dream fit in my life? How that person that I don't even have never seen, I've never known, I've never heard of come into my life and in my dream, how is that even possible? And we think all of this is a coincidence, which I don't I don't quite know literally the specificity of that. But there is a connection there. There's a connection that we're not truly, mm, we're not quite aware of. We don't really know it. We don't know how to question it. We don't know if that's something to question. So we get into this rabbit hole of understanding our trauma, understanding our family lineage, understanding things my grandmother and past generations struggled with. Hence, maybe I'm breaking the cycle now. I think the trees and the wind is resonating is resonating with the topic. So going back to the manual that we create or the manual that we've been given. Now, after that is when we start to create our own manual, our own experience of life, our own interpretation, our own identification. So I used to ask myself a lot, like, who am I? What am I here to do? Who am I? What am I here to do? And it kept repeating itself. And till this point, I don't really, you know, identify as like, hey, I'm Sarah, I'm from here, I believe in this and this. But truly, I say I'm creator of life, I'm a healer. I came here to experience potential of myself, my body, mm, meet people, experience life, not really just live it, but experience life. So there is more depth. If you've been along in this journey, there is more depth to your answers than I am, Sarah, I do this, I'm a content creator, I teach yoga. There's more depth to who we are. It's really beneath all the things that we perceive as, I'm someone who likes to wear this, or I'm wearing this sweater or whatnot. We become so connected more and more to what really matters, what brings our soul to life, and that becomes what we identify with, or at least not identify. Trying to think of a better word. That becomes our own immersive experience, or that becomes more of our journey, let's say, than it being something you can logically see or observe in your own eyes by just seeing. But there is a depth to that sight, right? There's something deeper than what I see in a tree. I look at a tree in front of me, it has like leaves, it has like a trunk, it has a lot of branches, but I wouldn't look at it as just that. But it presents itself as is. Like that tree, it is as it is. It's not here in life to be like, hey, I'm meant to be a curvy tree or with a big bum or big trunk, or I'm meant to have a lot of leaves. So every single tree has its own kind of representation, its own space to be, because nature is just being, it's not shaping, reshaping. It grows, and it's either small that it's growing, or it's either big that it's getting a bit, it's gonna die, or it's gonna break down or whatnot. That's just a simple example to look at. So how do we create a meaningful life every single day? By these little experiences, these little you know, glances, or these little moments where there's no thought to it. We just do it, we just go with the flow. Us as women, it's important to go with the flow and listen to what matters, what brings you to life, what brings joy to you, what lights you up, and how can you do more of that, even when you have tremendous and crazy amount of thoughts trying to convince you otherwise, trying to put you in this box where this is your experience, this is what you're meant to do, this is your life is going to be like this, or this is what someone thought about you, or someone liked you, or someone ditched you there, or someone didn't invite you for the party. It's just that there is so much noise that we need to dial down. We need to lower the bar. We need to put ourselves into this um middle level. I don't know if there's a word for it. I like new words, but medium, I guess. How can we put ourselves in this middle, in this medium, that what we see outside of us is our perception, right? For example, what we see outside of us is just our sight, our own interpretation. Whatever we put I to, whatever we identify with as mine, as I, it becomes related to us in some way. That's my tree becomes my tree. And somehow when someone comes in and says, no, that's my tree, we get agitated, we get angry. And all those emotions starts to go outwards to that person without really taking ownership and responsibility of that's actually something I identified with. Why was I angry? Why was I reactive based on, or if someone took my tree, what does it signify for me? Perhaps maybe this tree was planted was a memory of someone I lost or someone I love, or it's in a, memory of someone, or it's something that, or it's a tree you've been working to grow for years and someone just said it was mine. So there is unfairness there. So that makes total sense, but not when it's, it sometimes I say this and because it's something I kind of experience with like attachment and detachment. Like sometimes we talk about things and like, like I've detached from this and I'm not like that and I'm a changed person. Yet when something happens and experience it, it really takes us from that to just being the same person of the attached person that you always were. So life will challenge you in that way. It will put in obstacles. Well, challenges, not obstacles, to to test you whether you have overcome this or you're still holding on to. So if you had, some challenges with attachment, life universe will present to you, will test you in a way where it's going to challenge that. And it's going to put that obstacle again and again in different scenarios. It might not look similar, but the pattern is the same one. So we need to pay close attention. We need to look inwards. And this is, I'm experiencing a big transition in my life where I don't like to talk about it only when I'm ready. So I was really called to, I was like sitting here in this park, beautiful place with just everywhere nature except for my gadgets here. And I just felt this message, something just wanted to speak through. And I was getting inspiration from people and from just how I've been a bit silent, but truly listening to myself and, the work that I'm doing and becoming more expansive. So, um, yeah, I hope this was insightful in any way. I hope this inspires you to connect to your truth if you're not. I hope this inspires you to create more things that bring you to life um than our shoulds and must. Sending blessings, and I will talk to you in the next one.